well. So I hope we are all excited for today's session because I really am. And I mean, we have the best people on the panel. And before I go ahead, I would like to do a little bit of housekeeping and introduction. My name is Izala Dugo. You can call me Ada. And I am the head of growth for Town Talk Solutions, which is a data intelligence company. I also lead marketing at Web3 Ladies, which is a non-profit organization for women in the Web3 space. This session is hosted by Forex, and Forex is a crypto and gift card exchange platform. You can find them on disha.page.com. It is a 1-hour session. Please, if you have questions, kindly note them down, and we'll try as much as possible to attend to them after the session. Without taking much of our time, I think we'll go into introductions. Elsie, you go first, and Fure, you go second. Yeah, you can turn it on.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Elsie Godwin. I do marketing, media, and communication. And I have done marketing in Web2, of course, for years, over 10 years, and pretty much also had the opportunity to do marketing for Web3 companies as well. I'm part of the team currently building a product called Cashwise. Cashwise is going to be a platform for international remittance for, of course, our normal fiat and then stable coins, bill payments and things like that. I'm also part of the team building Media Track. Media Track, which is Compact, will be a platform for tracking the advertising in the media platforms using artificial intelligence and machine learning. So I think that's pretty much me for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for the introduction. Fure, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ada. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Fure Iviosikwofa, and I'm the founder of Furex. So Furex is a financial services company that allows users to buy, sell, store, and swap cryptocurrencies. Right. So Furex was formerly known as Furetin Exchanger, and it was a platform built off on WhatsApp that's catered and put smiles on the faces of about 16,000 customers. And we took it a step further to build our first MVP that now allows users to buy and sell crypto in 2 steps. So our singular mission at Furex is to do more with crypto, right? We understand that there will be a long transitional phase before the widespread of adoption of cryptocurrencies seems realistic. So we put innovation at the forefront of what we do. One of which is the ability of our users to perform cross-border remittances with borderless transfers on Furex. I'm very excited to be here today, and I cannot wait to delve into the conversation regarding what is hindering cryptocurrency adoption in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fure. So we don't have a lot of time, so we'll try to crash some questions. Please, let's try as much as possible to summarize our answers. We know the topic of today. It is Cryptonite. We're here to discuss what is killing crypto adoption in Africa. But I think we'd need to start with defining the term crypto, right? So I think I would start with you first, being that, Forex and whole crypto exchange. How would you describe cryptocurrencies to a lame person?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Cryptocurrencies is a digital form of money. It can also be called virtual currency that can be exchanged for value or invested for returns. Cryptocurrencies are fully decentralized and cannot be controlled by a centralized authority like CBN, the government, or any apex bank in Africa, right? Cryptocurrency transactions are usually recorded on a public ledger, a decentralized public ledger called the blockchain. So its transactions cannot be altered and are immutable because of the nature of the blockchain. So there are many types of cryptocurrencies, and one of the most popular with the biggest market cap is Bitcoin. And this was produced in 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, although we have a few stable cryptocurrencies like USDT, USDCs, which were built to keep crypto valuations stable. You advise to do your own research before investing in cryptocurrencies, as they are highly volatile.
Great, thank you. You did mention that we all know cryptocurrency, it's a currency, right?
Yes, of course.
And if it is a currency, it has to be accepted as a means of exchange for some sort of value. So my next question, I think this would be okay, Elsie will go first, then you go second. So what are your thoughts on the current rate of cryptocurrency adoption in Africa? Are we there? Are people accepting, are they even accepting this currency as an exchange of some sort of value?
So I would say yes, and I would try to start from Nigeria, because I live in Nigeria.
Yeah, of course.
So first, what is adoption, right? Adoption is a significant number of people using something. It doesn't matter if you expect it to be 1 billion, but if 1 million people are using something, then it is quite significant, right? And that can be termed adoption. So that is why I would say yes. A little research would tell you where Nigeria ranks in terms of cryptocurrency and its adoption. There are platforms that will tell you that they boast of over 3 million users on their platform, exchanging and using different digital assets on their platform. If you take it away from the prominence, because when this conversation comes up, you get people trying to talk about the government and the supposed ban and things like that. However, if you leave the main part of, say, Lagos and move towards Badagry, you realize that some people still exchange currencies like Sefa because they're closer to the border in that area, right? You go to some parts of Senegal, I think Togo, there are people who accept Naira, even though it is not their legal tender in that country. So the real point here is the fact that people can exchange this and understand what the value is and it is pegged. So from that perspective, and for me, I agree, or I would say that the adoption is on a very high rise. Personally, I would want to see more use cases. I was excited for the news that came off of South Africa and Pick and Pay, where people can now make purchase with, is it Bitcoin now or any stable coin? I'm not particular about that, but it's being accepted on that scale, right? So if South Africa is doing that, I'm really hoping to see a Nigerian product that would make exchange or exchanging of value with stable coin very easy for people in terms of buying and selling. So if I can go to a Jumia, for example, and I can check out using whatever amount I have in my USDT, I think that would be cool, right? So those sort of adoption are something we hope to see. I've had a series of conversations where we talk about products and how people are thinking through their products, how we need to move away from the whole hype and ensure that we're doing the real work on the ground to push this adoption further. We've talked about education and how it is important because, when I had to do Web3 marketing for the first time, it was interesting for me to see that most of the concepts, or even all of the concepts that we already know in Web2, is what is still happening in Web3, but with a different word that makes them feel like it's cool. I don't know, but it's an interesting space. But bottom line is, principles of life are pretty much the same thing, right? So when you apply that, then you begin to see that you can make headway. So until we have products that the layman can really use, I don't think everybody needs to understand the technology of blockchain to use Bitcoin. We are in Web2, we don't know the technology that happens between a GT Bank and a Zenith Bank. All we know is that we can transfer money and that value is there. So until we get to that point, yes, I know everyone would then be excited to say that it's being adopted. But from my own perspective, I believe that is largely being adopted with the progress that I see platforms like even Furex is having with their product. Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, you are absolutely correct, or you may be correct according to the research I've done. I was making a little research yesterday, and I actually saw that crypto adoption in Nigeria, in Africa, grew over 2,500% in 2021, meaning from 2020 to 2021, it's 25x, and that's actually amazing. So, for on your own, from your own point of view, how would you, what do you think, or what would you say about the adoption of crypto in Africa?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Um, I think that cryptocurrency has, greatly been adopted by retail and individual investors, you know, but generally, I feel it's still low. Yes. I think that if you are going to look at it demographically, there's a set of people that have adopted it greatly, and I'll say that's the young people, right? I think I should use the word Gen Zs, right? So if so
Yeah.
if we look at even the audience here today, I'm not sure I can find anybody above 40, 50, so there's this set. All right. So, but I mean, just one. So, but there's this set of people that have taken a particular interest in cryptocurrency, and I think this might just pose a little problem, in the widespread adoption of crypto, right? Although I understand that this is due to problems of, relating to lack of access to technology, awareness, education, I'd also say probably high cost of infrastructure in, innovating in this space, and I would also say regulation, right? Even though I really don't like talking about it. But so these are like the problems. I believe that by the time these problems are solved, I think that we can navigate further.
Okay, great. So Fure is saying that crypto is a Gen Z thing. But yeah, I think we all get the point. I'll throw this back to you, Fure. So what are some practical use cases that you may have seen or come to know about in other parts of the world and that you think Africans need to adopt?
Okay, so I would say, firstly, e-commerce, right? I think that cryptocurrency is not greatly being used in the e-commerce sector in Africa, Nigeria. I'll say, for example, Jumia and Akonga. I do not think that these big boys accept cryptocurrency presently. I think it would be a step towards the right direction if we can have these guys who are like big players and in the e-commerce sector incorporate cryptocurrency as a means of payments for their users. I also think another will be probably Bitcoin ATMs. In Nigeria today, we do not even have any Bitcoin ATMs presently. And I think this would solve the problem of, people that live in very rural areas and, lack access to technology. Case in point, myself, when I was in the university about 4 or 5 years ago, during the ICU era, there was a time where, I really, really tried to buy, some coins during the ICO openings, but I couldn't just get these coins because my school was, in a remote area, and I struggled so hard, to access, internet. So a lot of people do not have internet. There are about 200 million, Nigerians, and just 109 million people have access to, internet. Even if they have access to internet, the internet is not even good enough, and even the cost is actually, at the roof, right? So I think that by the time, these problems are solved, then I think adoption would, increase.
Okay, just one quick question from what you've said. I'm very curious. You said a use case would be having ATM machines for Bitcoin, and I can't even help but wonder how does that play? I know there are some countries that have that, but
Yes, of course.
I've actually been very curious to see how does it work. Is it that is there any physical form of currency, or is it, so does this machine help you sort of make transactions,
So,
transfer, and all of that?
so the way it works is most users, right? I would say the older generation, right? Because from my survey in my OTC platform, I discovered that when older people want to send like the children in Nigeria, money like Bitcoin, they mostly use like the Bitcoin ATMs. They don't use exchanges. So what they do is they go to the ATM, they just like make transactions, and in a few minutes, everything is done, easy for them. No hassle, no need to navigate very complex exchanges, because we all know that many of these exchanges are very, very complex to navigate, and not everybody, understands like the basics. Because for you to be able to navigate some of these top exchanges in the US, you need to have like a solid understanding of blockchain and understand how, these action points work. So this is why Bitcoin ATMs would actually be a very, very good tool towards driving the widespread adoption of cryptocurrencies in Nigeria.
Okay, great. Over to you, Elsie. Some practical use cases of cryptocurrency in Africa that you would want us to adopt.
I think I spoke to that earlier, and he also has mentioned some. So yes, until we can make it easier for people to understand how to use this currency to exchange value, then it begins to become clearer as to what else can be done. If we cannot cross that line, then it's almost like impossible. It's just going to be where it is in terms of being able to move money in and out of across border, really, right? So I think that's it for me, really.
Yeah, great. So more awareness, education.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. For real quick, can you name like your the top three biggest killers of crypto in Africa, and maybe briefly just tell us why. Just real quick, please.
Okay, so let me just touch on a little bit of what she said about awareness, right? I think that the knowledge gap and education, proper sensitization might just like, be the biggest overranking problem, that has actually hindered, cryptocurrency adoption in Africa. Not many people know how to use cryptocurrency. In fact, a good example would be my dad. I was telling him, you're trying to sell my vision to him. So he was like, what is crypto? What is crypto? I don't know. If I cannot see it, I cannot invest in it.
No money.
So I think that education plays a very vital role towards the widespread adoption of cryptocurrency in Africa, and the technology is there, right? Technology is there, but many people don't know how to use it, right? And there are so many things that cryptocurrency can solve for, emerging markets like in Africa, like Nigeria, right? For example, it can be a very good hedge against inflation, right? So in my company recently, my staffs, I've had a lot of like, disgruntlements whenever they get paid in Naira, because they are always mad. Like, why can't, boss pay us in crypto, since we work in a cryptocurrency, company, right? So, because it solves a problem, right? It can be used as an hedge against inflation. Back then when minimum wage was still in 30,000 naira, and now still the same, if you were earning, 30,000 then and earning 30,000 now, you've like, lost your spending power. And I think that the solution is there, but, proper sensitization needs to be done, before people can be able to, start adopting it. We don't need to convince them. I don't think we need to convince people. I just think we need to educate them, make them know the opportunities and how it can help them, right? So another problem would be, again, lack of access to technology and financial services. Right, so, I remember I said back in the university, for me, I couldn't access cryptocurrency, and I have actually been running my OTC platform for about 6 years. It was very difficult to satisfy my customers back then, because, just the platform built off WhatsApp, and my customers are coming to me, requesting to sell digital assets, and I have very poor internet in my school. So I had customers, disgruntled, not really happy with my service, due to the fact that on those states then, Akungba to be precise, we had very, very, very poor internet. And yeah, we had very poor internet. And this was a big problem for me. I had to travel miles. I had to travel as far as Akure to get internet to do my business. So there are many people faced with these problems. Looking at the statistics by, I think, my ID pass, 109.2 million Nigerians presently have access to internet, while the others do not have access to internet. So I think that this is a very big challenge, and it's affecting the widespread adoption of cryptocurrencies. Another will be the high cost of infrastructure. And this is not always talked about, but I think I need to say this. Infrastructure, building a company like Furex of Web3 and blockchain infrastructure is very, very expensive. And I kid you not, many people, would love to actually build off companies on Web3 and blockchain technology, but the high cost of infrastructure has actually hindered them. And I think that if this can actually, be cheaper, we'll begin to see more, innovators come into the space. And I think that when innovators come in, they would create more use cases for cryptocurrency, which will in turn, increase the widespread adoption of cryptocurrencies. Can I add one more?
I think that's...
Okay, I think that's fine.
Yes. Okay, Elsie, this is for you.
I want to add to that, sorry.
Okay.
But I also want to ask why he's not paying his staff in cryptocurrency. That's a very serious...
Okay.
Actually, it's a work in progress,
Okay,
right?
please make the
Yeah,
progress
it's a work
faster.
in progress.
So I wanted to add to that, adding to it with marketing, and then linking it back to what we're talking about in terms of awareness and education. So I've had the opportunity to interact with a good number of C-suite people and those who make decisions. And one of the problem I have noticed is the low understanding when it comes to marketing. So marketing is not one size fits all. I think marketing is an art, and it's an art and communication as well. So until you understand the real problem and you're ready to solve that problem, you'll probably be wasting money, right? So you see a company who tells you they want to onboard new users, and I see this a lot in the Web3 space. You have a budget to carry out a campaign, and they're very open to spend thousands of dollars on already existing Web3 users, right? People who already understand this product. They probably already have 4 to 5 exchanges on their phones, but you just want to spend your money on these same people to still bring them on board to compete in that same small pool without doing the real work to actually educate people and bring them on board. So I think that until marketing becomes what is supposed to be in Web3, I mean, I love the community engagement. It's quite interesting, especially if you use it well. But there is a lot that can be learned from what happens in Web2 companies and how KPIs are fixed and how you actually think through creating brand awareness, PR, and communication to ensure that you sell a product. So if I'm working with you and you're telling me you want to onboard Africans that don't have, or your story is you want to onboard unbanked Africans, why do you want me to still go to talk to a Binance community? If you understand what I mean. You should be able to spend the money to go to where the infrastructure is needed, go to where the awareness is needed, speak to them, onboard them, make them understand the value of this currency or even the blockchain, and then begin to help that adoption go on. But if you're running around circles and chasing the same 3 million users that a Roku has, or the same millions of users that Binance have, or the same one that Furex have, then we'll...
This to to protect our customers in Furex and to, and not stifle innovation, right? So, case in point, when when this, whole CBN ban happened, it stifled innovation for me, and didn't protect my customers, right? Because then all my accounts were frozen, right? And up to date, I don't have an account in Nigeria, right? And this, disrupted my operations, and I was not able to, innovate. So we all want the same thing, right? We all want to protect customers, and we also want to drive innovation forward. So I think that the government needs to, involve, the stakeholders more, in their decision towards making these policies, right? So that we can all have, sustainable policies. And I think that we can take it from there, because, the government are like the biggest influencers of, any economy, so, yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Because we don't have a lot of time, I think I would give the floor to one question. Anyone who has a question on the topic for today, please find one of the ushers at the back to pick up the mic. Okay, so just if there's a question, let me know. But we'll be rounding up, and I'll just go over to the last question for the panel. With the rate of... Okay, great.
Hello, everybody. My name
Hi.
is Mujib. So, talking about the Cryptonite and things that are inhibiting people from adopting crypto in Nigeria, would you say that trust is one of the issues? And how do we solve that?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me chime in here. So trust actually plays a very big role. I would say, if we look at the issue of Sam Bankman-Fried, the issue of FTX, right? I think that people's trusts have actually been betrayed, and I think that exchanges needs to, declare more proof of reserves in order to win the trust of the masses, because cryptocurrency is actually very, very, very risky. And for you to trust someone with your money, that's okay. Yes, I know that you're not gonna take my money and start, doing all sort of things with it at the back end. We need to have some sort of proof, and I think that proof of reserves could solve the problem of trust. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to quickly answer that, or? Okay. So are you clear on that? Great. We'll round up now, but just one quick. Elsie, I think that will be for you. What are your predictions from now to the next 10 years for the hope of cryptocurrency in Africa, in Nigeria?
10 years is long, man. As a human being, as a person, I don't even try to do more than 2 years plan, because maybe it's also because of my career trajectory and how I sort of play in different fields, from media, marketing, and communication. So, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is 10 years is long, especially with how rapid innovation happens now. Gone are the days where you expect innovation maybe in the next 3-5 years. Like, you can wake up tomorrow, like literally
and
tomorrow.
Changes.
And everything changes, and we're wondering, so what's this new one? I mean, last year, I'm sure no one predicted Chat GPT, right? But that's it now. Content writers are bothered and worried. But I don't think you should be worried. I just think you should upskill, right?
Yeah.
So I see digital currencies being more adopted. There will be better use cases. I don't know if we're able to touch on how the product needs to be simplified, because until these products are also simplified, your awareness would be much more difficult. So product owners, designers, developers, they need to begin to think through how to ensure that these products are simplified for a layman to just pick it up and understand what they are doing without anyone trying to tell them how to or what this means and that means. I mean, if I'm using a regular bank app and it's been easy, I should be able to pick up a crypto app and do what I need to do. So with that being said, there will definitely be more adoption. There'll be ups and downs, but there will be innovations that will change a lot of things.
Sure.
So we just need to sit tight and be ready.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before I get to you, I think there is a question. Let's just take that quickly.
Thank you. The conversation has been very interesting. Considering it's stemming out of trust, And I'll just quickly put it this way. In 2023, how would you say one who hasn't played at all in the cryptocurrency market begins to play in 2023?
Okay. Corey, you can.
Okay, let me chime in here. So the truth is, we understand that there's a lot of skepticism in the market presently due to recent happenings. Like, I mean, market sentiments have been very poor, and people, have lost faith. I mean, I've not been able to, think of, a bull season for a long time because we've been down. I think we've been down for like almost a year, and this has actually instilled fear in the minds of people that want to get in. Once they hear, oh, if you buy cryptocurrency now, it goes down. So there's a lot of fear, and even looking at what happened with FTX, a lot of people now have lost faith, and they've started, to shy away from investing in cryptocurrency. But I think that people should not lose faith. Because I think cryptocurrency is the building block and the foundation upon which the next frontier of innovation would rely upon.
So just to add to that, if you want to go into the space, research is always the first thing. Like, you need to research and understand it for yourself, and then understand why you want to go into this space. I'm not going to say everyone should just jump in because everyone is in there, but you need to understand it for yourself. And like he said, it's a risky game, especially if you want to do the whole DeFi thing and stuff, right? So, but research and research and research, that should be the first step for anyone who wants to go into this space. Also join conversations. There's a lot happening online, especially on Twitter. There are so many resources on YouTube. So reach out to people and just understand it first before you take that step. Thank you.
Okay, does that answer your question? Thank you so much. Our time is fast spent, so Fure, I'll just ask you to round up. What are your last words? Then Elsie, you go after him, and then we'll be done with this amazing session.
Okay, thank you so much, Adalgo. So firstly, I'd like to say thank you to the African Next team for putting up this event together. I'd also like to thank every member of the audience for being here today, and to my fellow panelists and moderator, well done, guys. So my final thoughts on this topic will be the need for cryptocurrency to be incorporated in the curriculum of the younger generation. I'm talking about cryptocurrency being taught as subjects in primary school, secondary school, up to the university level, right? Because, I mean, we know that cryptocurrency is the future. So I think we should teach them young, like let them understand, let them begin to see the opportunities, right? So that we can know that, okay, yes, our future is in safe hands, right? In the next 10 years, we can begin to see people who are crypto literate and can create a diverse economy for cryptocurrency and digital finance in Africa.
So talking about crypto being taught in school, I know for sure that is already happening in Pan Atlantic University. So their computer science departments are actually doing a lot, and I was able to sort of strike a partnership with them and one of the blockchain pushers in the space, right? So some things are happening in that space, and a lot more will also happen. But like I said, research is our best friend. There's a lot of opportunities in that space, especially with respect to job opportunities and earning, right? And also, when you see people who succeed in that space, it's a lot of hard work. And please permit me to give a big shout out to Mr. Michael Ugo. Like, there is no event that is like the happening space that I have not seen him actively participate. And when I was also marketing manager for the company I mentioned, he was a strong support in terms of being available to have this conversation. So it takes a lot of work because I know that he also has his own regular business, but he comes out to do these things and network with people, and of course share his knowledge and pick from other people as well. So I think that's one thing I know that a lot of people should do more. I love the support in the Web3 space, but that support needs to also grow bigger because it's becoming a level of cult is sort of happening at some point. But for those who are just open to letting people do things, I hope that that happens more. And shout out to Africaness for this section. And thank you, Furious, for having me. Thank you all.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you to our amazing speakers. You guys have spoken so well. Thank you to everyone who joined us. Just to summarize, crypto is growing largely in Africa. And if you would want to be a part of this growing train, you should be able to do your own research to get enough information to give you the perfect key entry into the space. And with that being said, we have come to the end of this amazing session. Thank you, Africa Next, for putting this together. And the speakers, please, let's have 1 or 2 minutes for pictures so you can show the world. All right, thank you, everyone.